From what has been said, it can be shown that God alone brings the human soul into being. For everything that is produced or generated by itself, or by accident, or is created, but the human soul is not generated by itself, since it is not composed of matter and form, as was shown above, nor is it generated by accident, for since it is the form of a body, it would be generated by the generation of the body, which is from the active power of the seed, which was disproved, when therefore the human soul begins to be anew, for it is not eternal, nor does it pre-exist the body, as was shown above. It is left that which comes into being through creation. It was shown above that only God can create. Therefore he alone brings the human soul into being. Further, everything whose substance is not its own being has an author of its own being, as was shown above. But the human soul is not its own being, for this is God's alone, as was shown above. He therefore has an active reason for his being. But that which has existence by itself is also done by itself. Indeed, that which does not have existence by itself, but only with another, is not done by itself, but by something else. Just as the form of fire is generated by fire. But the human soul has this property among other forms, which is subsisting in its own being, and the being which is proper to itself it communicates to the body. The soul, therefore, by itself has its own becoming, in addition to the manner of other forms, which are made by accidental compounding. But since the human soul has no material part of itself, it cannot be made from something as from matter. It is therefore left that which is made out of nothing, and so it is created. Therefore, since creation is God's own work, still, those things which are of one kind have the same way of coming into being, as was proved above. Now the soul belongs to the genus of intellectual substances, which cannot be understood otherwise than as coming into existence except by way of creation. Therefore, the human soul comes into existence through creation by God. Again, whatever is brought into being by some agent acquires from him either something which is the principle of being in such a form, or absolute being itself. But the soul cannot be brought into being in such a way as to acquire for it something which is the principle of being, as happens in things composed of matter and form, which are generated by the fact that they acquire form in action. For the soul has nothing in itself, which is the principle of being for itself, since it is a simple substance, as was shown above. It is therefore left that which is not brought into being by any agent, except by that which results from that being absolutely. Being itself is the proper effect of the first and universal agent, for second agents act by impressing the likenesses of their forms on things made, which are the forms of things made. In addition, the end of a thing corresponds to its beginning, for then the thing is perfect when it reaches its own beginning, either by similitude or in any other way. But the end of the human soul and its ultimate perfection is that through knowledge and love, it transcends the whole order of creatures and reaches the first principle, which is God. Therefore, it has the beginning of its proper origin from Him. This also seems to be hinted at by the Holy Scriptures, Genesis 1. For when, speaking of the formation of other animals, he ascribes their souls to other causes, as when he says, "Let the waters produce the living soul of reptiles, and likewise of others, coming to man," he shows that his soul was created by God, saying, "God formed man from clay of the earth, and breathed into his face the breath of lumines." The error of those who maintain that souls were created by angels is excluded.